And it's lights out and away we go.
F1 tracks are boring. At least most of them are. And a big reason is that most of them don't have what modern F1 needs. Have a quick think for yourself. I'm sure you can immediately think of 3 examples. So we're going to discuss what makes a track layout good for racing F1 cars, what races to get excited about, and an overlooked factor which completely transforms a Grand Prix event. Now, apart from the likes of Brazil, Spa and Monza, we don't have loads of exciting action on track these days. In a 20+ race calendar, that's a massive problem. We don't pay money to watch a sport where there's no action. So from analysing the 3 tracks on screen, we can see a pattern in track layout which makes them some of the best races every year. And in particular, there are 3 features which make them great for us fans to watch. For the first feature, let's head to the Interlagos circuit in Brazil. Now this track hosted some incredible racing over the last 3 seasons, which is why it's ranked as the 3rd best Grand Prix by fans online. For example, this defense masterclass by Alonso last year.
Okay, it's 0.5, use energy, 0.5. 2 more laps at the end of this one too.
Forces a defensive move, that's not what Perez needs. If he goes off the racing line, he could be vulnerable to 4. Number 4, this is going to be super aggressive between the 2 of them. Alonso's fought his way back through.
What made this part of the race so exciting? Well, it was the fact that each driver could take different lines in the final corner depending on if they were trying to attack or defend. Compare this to Monaco, which is known for having boring races where drivers can't take different lines. So we can see a feature that creates good racing is a wide open racetrack, as it allows the drivers to use their racecraft to give us a show. Now the second feature is best shown at Ferrari's home race, Monza. Leclerc has been a real class act here over the years and gave every Ferrari fan a heart attack in 2023, fighting his teammate Carlos Sainz. The reason that Charles Leclerc has been able to produce those tense moments is because of what happens if he makes a mistake. Monza is known as the Temple of Speed and requires the least amount of downforce of any Grand Prix. Combining these top speeds with slow corners allows drivers to use their different strengths to produce some incredible overtakes. So the second feature a track has to have to produce some exciting racing are some form of heavy braking zones. So then, a third feature which makes a track layout good for racing in F1 is best shown at the Belgium track Spa-Francorchamps. Now this track creates a real dilemma for F1 teams. They have to set up the car towards the low downforce needed for the first and last sectors while still needing some grip for the middle. But there's 2 corners on this track which gets every racing fan on the edge of their seat. Eau Rouge and Raidillon. F1 is the pinnacle of motorsport, and seeing these cars get pushed to their absolute limits in a corner like Eau Rouge creates a real sense of risk. And it takes a lot of skill to be quick at Spa. How many times have we seen drivers push too far and pay the consequences? But it doesn't end there. The drivers who can get through Eau Rouge and Raidillon faster than the rest will then get an advantage onto the Camel Straight, which again enables overtaking and reduces the chances of DRS trains, which means interesting racing for us. So Spa really demonstrates the importance of fast flowing corners to create exciting on-track moments. But what tracks in F1 have all of those features? Well, we've already mentioned Brazil, Spa and Monza, but there are a few others. In the UK, we've got the iconic Silverstone circuit, with the fast-flowing Maggots and Becketts, the heavy braking zones of Vale Chicane, and the widest straight you have ever seen. In North America, we've got the Texan track, Circuit of the Americas, or COTA for short. Now, fun fact, this track was actually designed with all of the best features from every other F1 circuit before it. Again, Maggots and Becketts from Silverstone, the Hockenheim Arena Benz, and a replica of Istanbul's Turn 8. Now this ultimate racetrack currently has the rank of #1 Grand Prix as voted by fans online. Lastly, there's a track which has created some incredible races over the years, the Shanghai International Circuit. The turns 1 through 4 complex is super tricky to get right, but has been a great place to overtake in the past, as well as that big braking zone in Sector 3, which Danny Rick will be excited to get back to, I'm sure. Now these 6 tracks are the best on the F1 calendar at the moment in terms of on-track action. But there is one thing missing from some of these tracks which completely transforms a Grand Prix event. It's actually something that often gets overlooked if you're watching from home, yet completely transforms the whole Grand Prix. Let's use Zandvoort as an example. Throughout the whole weekend, the Zandvoort circuit is like one massive festival, but with a Formula 1 race in the middle of it. Now on the current calendar, which tracks do this best? Well, last year Silverstone really worked on this and it was immediately met with a lot of positive feedback. And alongside the British and Dutch Grand Prix, tracks such as Kota, Mexico and even Baku have a lot of off-track events which make the whole fan experience much more enjoyable. So it's clear that the facilities and the off-track features have a huge effect on a race weekend's success, even if it doesn't affect the on-track racing. So, if you were to choose a Grand Prix to go to for the best of both worlds, what would you choose? For me, the best look like Silverstone, Brazil and Kota. And many fans agree. Those three are in the top 4 Grand Prix on average according to fan votes, the other being the Nürburgring, which isn't on the calendar anymore. And you can understand why they're so popular. They combine all the right track features with a great fan experience and still don't completely break the bank. Now there are a lot of other factors which can make or break a Grand Prix, but if we are looking at purely the track layout and the off-track fun, those are probably the best races that you can attend. As for the boring races, looking at you Monaco, they still have their place and they can create an interesting contrast, but really we'd all be lying if we didn't say that F1 need to look at some other tracks to add some more variety to the F1 calendar and to make sure that the tracks that we race at actually give us a race and not just a procession. F1 is desperate to keep the new fans interested, and the quality of both on and off-track experiences is getting a big push from F1, and circuits are being told to invest in their future or they'll be replaced. Now hopefully that mindset leads us to even better racing in the future. Now as good as a track layout can be, it's all useless if the cars aren't close in performance. Now Ferrari have been making a lot of big moves lately, and hiring Hamilton is just the tip of the iceberg. Now we know that dynasties come in cycles. Mercedes had theirs, Red Bull too, and it looks like Ferrari could be building towards theirs for 2026. So, if you want to find out what Fred Vasseur has been doing to turn Ferrari into a winning team, you can watch this video here. In the meantime, subscribe so you never miss out on F1 content.